Make it clap. Make it... No? Okay.
Boo!
Halloween.
Well,
Yes, Bob.
we're doing the scariest moments in video games.
Yes.
Number one. I'm going to start with number one. The scariest
Okay.
moment in any video game ever
Okay.
was that little maze game on the computer. And you go through the maze, and all of a sudden you get to a certain point, and then, boo, there's a big, scary, ugly girl that pops out.
Oh, I know that. One of those browser games. Yeah, that doesn't count. That ain't a real game.
It's true.
Yeah. I don't know if I can say the number one scariest moment. There's certainly a lot of scary moments in games.
Yeah, we're not ranking them.
A lot of scary moments in games that aren't horror games.
Yes.
Like, I will fight anybody who disagrees with me on this, but the scariest song ever made in the history of ever is that song that plays when Sonic the Hedgehog is about to drown.
Okay.
That song is so terrifying and so like nothing like makes you freak out harder than hearing that song.
Yeah.
Like you're underwater.
I mean, I wouldn't call it like terrifying. Like
It is
definitely gets the blood going because
Yeah.
you're like, oh my god, I'm gonna die, and like gets you anxious. But
Yeah, because like you're
I wouldn't
already
be, like,
on edge.
It's not like spooky scary.
Well, no, okay, it's still scary. I mean, you're already on edge because Sonic is underwater and you know he can't swim
Right.
or breathe underwater. So like you're trying to go through it as fast as you can. Then all of a sudden you start to hear the countdown and you're like, oh, shit, I gotta get out. Oh, shit. Dead. So
Whoa.
yeah.
I was very terrified growing up of the robot in Carmen Sandiego.
Yeah, you were.
I was terrified of the robot.
Well, it was freaky because, like, where in the U.S. is Carmen Sandiego, you had a regular ass warrant officer, and then where in the world you had a warrant robot who was always malfunctioning, and he was trying to help you out. He's just
scary.
yelling and hollering.
It had
at
a
you.
weird voice.
Yeah,
I didn't like it.
yeah,
But in a real video game,
yeah.
all of Slender.
Yes.
Have you played Slender?
I have not played Slender. I have seen all the Let's Plays of Slender.
Oh
so
my god.
no.
Because it's short.
Yeah.
But going through it, if you want to talk about getting anxious and getting your blood going,
Yeah.
you have to collect the notes.
Yeah.
So you have to collect the 8 pages or whatever. Every page you get, the closer he gets. And he's always following you.
Yeah.
It's terrifying. It's what Alien Isolation wants to do.
Yeah.
But they made an 18-hour game out of it, which you can't do.
Right.
Which they did with the sequel to Slender, and nobody liked it.
Yeah. A moment that, really freaked me out in games, and I know freaked a lot of people out because all I had to do was YouTube this scene and like got a million hits, was in Eternal Darkness Sanity's Requiem for the GameCube. The whole game is about like you're losing your sanity. So you go through the whole game, you're slightly going crazier and crazier and crazier, and you get to a point where you're walking around the mansion and you go into the bathroom, and all of a sudden the camera just like jump cuts to a dead girl in a bathtub full of blood and then just fades away. And I think there's a loud scream when like it gets to the close up of her face, and it's just like it just happens real quick. You're like, what the was that? And like when I first saw that, I was playing that in college, and like I was playing it, and all of a sudden that comes up, I'm like, ah! And my roommate goes, "What the hell just happened?" But
You're a screamer with video games.
I am.
You talk very loudly to yourself and at the game.
Yeah, it's bad. I mean, especially with horror games because it's so intense, and they're trying to freak you out, and they succeed most of the time.
Well, when we used to play Resident Evil, I would hear you from the basement screaming at the top of your lungs.
Yeah, because that stuff's scary. You're walking through a mansion, minding your own business. All of a sudden, zombie dog through the window.
Yeah, Resident Evil had the most scary moments I know. I don't. To be honest, I don't play a lot of horror games.
Yeah,
they don't usually do much for me. They don't. Like I don't want to sound like a big tough guy, but I don't get scared over video games or like movies or anything.
Yeah,
I know it's not real.
Right, but I mean, it's different from a movie and a game because in a game, like you're part
the
of the
person.
experience.
Yeah,
you're the person being hunted or whatever.
Something like Slender was perfect.
Yeah,
because that like I am that person and I'm trying to get away from this thing that's watching me.
Yeah.
And you get really anxious when someone's watching.
Part of the problem with horror games is that they intentionally try to handicap you in order to make you feel more vulnerable and scared and stuff. And sometimes that works and sometimes it doesn't. Like, I know I played a little bit of Amnesia: The Dark Descent, and that's a game where like the controls are purposely complicated. Yeah. Like, to open a door, you have to actually click on the door and drag the mouse open. Oh. So there's that. But then there are games like Half-Life 2, which is not a horror game, but the Ravenholm section is very scary. And, you know, the controls are very good.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
I love that. Oh, Ravenholm was the one with all of the houses, right?
That was the one. It was right after you got the gravity gun and had all the traps set up for the zombies and stuff.
There was another section where you were going through like a tunnel with all these with like a car wreck. That was also really scary. Yeah, it had all of the zombie things too. All the head, whatever that was called. Head crabs. Yeah, head crabs. Also, we played The Evil Within.
Yeah.
Neither of us got pretty far in it, but the beginning, they intentionally handicap you.
Right.
Right off the bat, you're limping.
Yeah. And for the whole first chapter, you're just walking around with a limp.
I'd also like to say the first guy killed me 8 times.
Did you find out that you don't have to kill him? Or in fact, you probably, you can't kill him.
Took me 8 times, but I found out.
Here's the thing with The Evil Within. After the first, segment when you're no longer limping, it really quickly becomes not scary. Okay. And it's very intense and it's hard. But it's not scary. And I think part of the problem is right after that scene when you're, trying to escape the butcher or whatever he is, the city starts exploding.
Yeah. It gets very like new school
Resident
Evil real
very
quick.
Cartoony. Yeah. So
like the gameplay also changes drastically. They start you off limping and you can't do much. Yeah. I was like, oh, this is what this game's going to be like. It's going to be a series of like these really scary moments.
Yeah, and you got to like hide from people and all that.
Then they instantly throw you into being like a third-person shooter.
Right.
And they don't explain anything. They don't tell you any of the controls or nothing.
But the thing is, because like it becomes a third-person shooter, but it still has survival horror conventions where like there's little ammo. Yeah. You have to hide and stuff. So it doesn't really want to know whether it wants to be a stealth game or an action game.
There's also no autosaves.
Yeah.
Which really bothers me. I hate that.
Yeah.
But 2014, you gotta get me some autosaves.
That just gives you incentive to survive. That's how horror games work.
Thanks, I need that.
Yeah. I'm looking at a stack of games off camera and I see Tomb Raider. There was the remake. There was a scene in that where you're going through a tunnel and she's the water's getting slowly rising, and there's a part where the roof of the tunnel is here and the water's up to here, and like she has to wade through it like that. I'm just like, nope, I don't want to play this anymore.
You don't like drowning.
I don't like. No, nobody likes drowning.
You got an issue with drowning. We barely talked about Resident Evil.
That's true.
That's the scariest
that we've played.
Yeah.
I know there are people out there who probably say like Silent Hill 2 or there are probably a lot of Amnesia fans out there. But yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to think of, because Resident Evil I think is the expected answer.
Yes. But not we're talking about the moments in the games.
Moments in the games.
Like, for example, my scariest moment in any game ever is Resident Evil 2, Mission B with Leon.
Right.
Not a lot of people played that.
Right.
Because you gotta beat the game twice or whatever. But because you have the tyrant running around trying to chase you, and you go into the room to get the little gold cog. Yeah. There's no music. You're like, this is weird.
Yeah.
You get the gold cog, you walk a little bit, and then like, you know how you always see like the environments in a video game that was around that time,
and you can tell like when something was gonna come through a wall.
Yeah, you can tell when something's gonna pop out or when like something's gonna move or something, and like that you couldn't tell that the tyrant was gonna bust through that wall.
Yeah.
And then he did. He busted through the wall. I said, "Holy shit, I don't have any ammo." So I ran out of the room. Because you run out of the room, it loads another room, and then you're safe. The same thing happened. I was in the hallway, and he busted through the wall in the hallway.
Yep.
That was scary. They used the game Like how you can tell the environmental assets from the assets that can move.
Yeah.
They used that to their advantage and scared the piss out of you.
Yep. People often talk about how Resident Evil 4 isn't a horror game, how it's more of an action game, and how it was the death of horror games, if you will. Those people can go to hell, because Resident Evil 4 is still scary. It's not traditionally spooky scary, but it's certainly intense, and you're on edge the whole game. The scene where it's Leon and Lewis, and they're in the cabin, and if they board everything up, and the Gananos just keep coming at you. Like, that's horrifying.
The first time you see the person with the chainsaw?
Yeah.
That's terrifying. Because you don't want to deal with any of those people.
No. It's bad enough, like, they're all coming after you, and then all of a sudden, chainsaw comes.
Yeah.
So.
And even the first time you walk into the village.
Yeah.
You don't know what these people are.
Yeah.
Because the whole time leading up to the game, everybody kept saying they're not zombies.
Yeah.
So, like, you don't know what the hell they are.
Yeah.
And you kill them. And they can, like, talk and stuff. So it's, like, weird.
Yeah.
It's, like, super weird. And you can't just run in and kill them all.
Yeah.
You have to, like, kind of run away.
Yeah, you have to, like, really plan your kills and stuff.
Yeah.
So, I mean, granted, it's more action-heavy than the last few games in the series were, but still, it's really
Also,
scary.
They don't tell you any of that. So you can't, like... You don't know that you can't just run in and start killing people.
Also, the credits, when they explain, like, what happens to all the villagers, is chilling. Just the way it's all done and stuff.
Yeah.
So, Condemned 2, Bloodshot, that game is scary. Until it goes off the rails. Because, like, the whole beginning of the game, you're walking around, you're fighting hobos in abandoned buildings and stuff, and, like, the supernatural starts freaking you out. And then it just goes even crazier, because there's a scene where you get drunk and you have to fight yourself, which is actually awesome. But there's one moment in it. It's funny because the scariest part in the game is in the worst level in the game. You're in some cabin, and I think Canada for some reason, and you're walking around, and all of a sudden, a bear just comes through the wall, and the objective marker just comes up and it just says, "Run." So you got to run away from this bear this whole time, and you have to, like, throw in the way to block the bear, and you have to throw a gas can in its mouth and shoot it like in Jaws. It's just, yeah, that game is. Play that game.
I guess that's it.
Yeah, for the ones we have experience with, at least.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, because I know there are other horror games out there. Like, I know there's Shadow Man, there's Nightmare Creatures, there's some of the Castlevanias.
I know there were weird games when I was little that scared the crap out of me for no reason. Similar to Carmen Sandiego and the Robot. But I can't think of any right now.
Yeah.
What do you guys think was some scary games you played? I'm sure there's a lot more that we haven't talked about.
Yep.
So, well, this is just a list about our scariest games.
Let us know.
Tell us your scariest games.
Tell us that stuff down below or anywhere on social media.
Yes. Here's all of our social media stuff.
Yeah.
Share the video.
Like it. Subscribe.
Next Wednesday you're going to talk about
yes, next Wednesday I'll talk about the Marvel movie, so stop asking me.
Don't stop. No, it's nice that you're asking.
Actually, yeah, keep asking me.
Bug him about it. You're going to compare it to DC?
Well, because DC also did release the list of their upcoming movies, so might as well talk about it.
Right. Do you think Ms. Marvel's going to be Muslim?
No, it's Captain Marvel, so it'll be Carol Danvers.
Oh, I didn't know. Goodbye.
So tune in Wednesday so I can explain that to him.
To be clear, I'm not talking about super rare games here. I'm only talking about games that you probably have that are still worth a decent chunk of change. Most of the games in this video are priced between $30 and $100, so don't get too crazy.
But I am the idiot in this situation because after that chapter, that's when things started getting interesting. So to make it up to you all and in celebration of Halloween this week, I'm going to discuss all the remaining chapters in The Long Halloween tonight in this episode.